Good afternoon. How are you today? This is Joanne Hewins, and I'm so glad to be with you this afternoon for a little while. I think everything's going okay. If you are watching, if you would just maybe give me a comment so I'll know what's going on, and I'm just happy to have you. Oops, let me turn down my volume on the computer, and that should take care of that problem. Okay. Last week I did my first Facebook Live, and I'm going to try to do this on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock. I'm Joanne Hewins. I have a blog at lovetocreate.typepad.com, and I would love for you to visit and see some of my ideas. I like sharing them with you, and I also sell Stampin' Up, so I would also just be very excited if you decided you'd like to purchase something from me. When I post this to Facebook, I will put my details under there with a link to my blog post, and I will have a post on this for Saturday ready to go. Last week when we met, we made these 4 cards using the same layout, and I said that I would pick from someone who made a comment and give them these 4 cards. And I did choose someone randomly earlier, and that will be Jean Lovelace. So Jean, you'll be coming to class on Monday, so remind me to give these to you when you come to class. And thank you for watching. Thank all of you for watching. I appreciate it. Today's been a really good day. I've been very busy working with getting cards together for a class that I'm going to do tomorrow, and let's see, Sunday afternoon and Monday morning. I always have fun doing that. And I got a phone call this morning from my daughter, and you may or may not know that she is expecting. We already have one little granddaughter named Sagan, and Jessie's expecting. She's due in March, and she shared with us that they are naming the baby Hazel Ann. And so I was very excited to hear that, because Ann is my middle name. Joe's my first name, Ann's my middle name, and the other grandmother is named Diane. So it's after both of us, and I think that's pretty exciting news. So we'll have a little Hazel to go along with Sagan. So I'm so excited about it. Well, let's get started with our projects for today. And we are going to be using the Coming Home Suite. Now this has with it, well, let me just tell you, it's in the mini catalog, the August-December mini catalog, and it has a lot of things with it. It has the paper that we're going to be using. It's called Trimming the Town. This has, I'll just show you a little, and I've been using the paper, so some of it's not whole, but there's some of the houses. And then we have this one. And on the back, that cute red dot. Here's a misty moonlight stripe with more houses. And some of these houses can be cut out with the dies. I'll be showing you that a little bit later. Here's a paper that has all kinds of Christmas sayings and in different languages. It's kind of neat. And on the back, we have wreaths. Here is a diagonal stripe in Old Olive. On the back is lots of little people ready for Christmas out in the snow. And then we have this little swirly paper, and on the back of it is just a snow scene. So you could cut parts of that and use it. I've seen some use the mountains as a background, and there's a beautiful church here. that you could use for a card. So that's the paper that's in the suite. There's also the Coming Home bundle, which consists of the Coming Home stamp set. And to go with that is the Home Together dies. And we're going to be using these, as I said, in our for our cards today. There's also all the trimmings embellishments. There is a ribbon combo pack also. So it makes for a nice suite. And let me point out this little piece right here in the catalog. It says, whether you purchase the Coming Home stamp set individually or as part of a bundle or suite collection, $3 will be donated to charities devoted to adoption, foster care, and infertility. You can make a difference today. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to show this today. If it were not for an infertility clinic, I would not have Sagan, and I would not have little Hazel on the way. So it makes a difference to me that Stampin' Up! Likes to give back to the community in ways that are important to us. Here on the next page, you can see the stamp set a little bit better. And, well, let's get started. I'm going to show you a card. This card is made using the Boho product medley, Boho Indigo product medley. And this is the fun fold that we're going to be doing today. So I thought I would show you something completed, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to cut the paper for this card. We're going to start off using Old Olive, and our paper is 8.5 by 11, and I need a piece that is 3 by 8.5. Since this is already 8.5, I'm just going to cut a piece that is 3 inches wide, and I want to score this in the middle. 4 1/4 is halfway mark. Now this cutter, this is the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. It does have a score blade and a cut blade. So you have to be careful and make sure you're getting the one that you want. Now I also want to have a base for this card that is 1/4 of a sheet of paper. So I'm going to go ahead, I hope I'm going to cut this correctly. I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4. And then I'm going to cut this piece at 5 1/2. And this gives me a little bit of scrap to use at another time. And this is going to be the base of my card. Okay, so I'm going to put that away for right now. And I'm going to fold this. Even though I did a score line, I need to match my corners and make sure that this is straight. Okay, so that's 2 ways of getting a good fold in your card. Okay, now I'm going to be using this, the trees from the Trimming the Town Designer Series paper. And these I've cut, let's see if I can remember, at 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. So what I'm going to do is glue these on. I don't see anybody out there. I hope that I'm live where I'm supposed to be. Okay, so I've got glue on those. Now there is a directionality of this paper, so you want to be sure that you get it on there so that the trees are going up the right way. And what I'm doing is just putting them on each end. Okay, oh, I see Jean is on here. Thank you, Jean. Thanks for watching. Okay, and now I'm going to put this piece on the card. I'm going to glue one side. And I don't know if you noticed what I just did, but I turned this over to put glue on the back. However, it's just the same on this side. I really didn't have to turn it over. So now I'm going to put this piece right in between my designer series paper and press down on that. And this gives me the fun fold part of the card. So there we have that. And for the front, I'm going to put a piece of this paper. Now this paper is called from the In Good Taste pack. And that pack is found in our annual catalog. It's a pack of paper that actually has just lots of, it's a larger pack than most and just has a lot of woods and textile looking things. It's really neat. So I'm going to cut a piece of paper for the snow on the bottom of this before I attach it. And I've taken a piece of the designer series paper. It's on the back of the Misty Moonlight Stripe. And I'm going to use the dies to cut out. I'll use this die to make my curvy piece of paper. And I am going to use this die and this die to cut out the pieces on my house. So let me bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and we'll get these done. Okay. So I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to see if I can do more than one thing at a time. I'm going to put my curvy piece here. And then I'll put my tree down. And I've got my house. Okay. And I'll put on my top piece and we'll roll this through. I like it when I can do more than one cut at a time. So let me move this out of the way. And we have all of our pieces. Okay, let me lay my plates out of the way. And I'm going to bring in my pieces again. So I'm going to go ahead and put these dies back in place so I don't lose them. And so we want to put a piece of white at the bottom of our paper. Now my white's a little bit too big, so I'm not going to need to put my glue all the way over there. So I'll put a little bit of glue there. Oh, hey Tina. Okay, so there's my snow, and I'm just going to trim this from the back. Okay, and then I'm going to put my house and my tree on the card. And to do that, I'm going to use dimensionals. So let me put some dimensionals back here. And I think I've got some cut in half. I'm going to stick one right up there on that chimney. And maybe one here in the middle. Okay. And I'm going to use my Take My Pick tool I'm going to change the ends, and I'm just going to use that to help me pick up the backings off of this. And I think I missed getting that one. So that's going to go here. And then we're going to also put some dimensionals on the tree. Put one whole one down there and part of one up here. And that's going to go there. Put some dimensionals. Oh, sorry, I messed up. Tree. I was trying to get the, my little sound bar is sticking up on my screen, and I can't see the comments because of it. So sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to work on my sentiment, and for my sentiment, I'm going to be using the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set, and I'm going to use Celebrate the Season. I'm going to stamp that in real red on a scrap of paper. And then I'm just going to cut around that. I have to admit, I like to fussy cut, and I probably do it more than I should, but I really like it. And just move your paper. I'm trying to leave my scissors pretty much at the same place, and I'm moving the paper around. If you're not used to doing that, you might need to practice just a little. But I taught first grade, and we often tried to get them to cut in that way. And then I'm going to put this on dimensionals, and these might be too wide. That's okay. And I think I'm going to cut one in half, one of my halves in half. I probably should have some of the mini dimensionals here with me, but I don't have them. I don't use those very often, and I really should. I have them. Not with me right now, but I do have them. So we're going to take this off. And my saying is going to go right up here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the front of the card, to the flap. So it's going to go right here. Isn't that cute? I do like to use the glue. You can see I'm kind of moving my piece around until I get it hopefully straight. Okay, and then there's just one more thing that we need. We need a little bit of snow. So I've got some of the snowflake sequins, and I'm going to add just a few little dots of glue. I'm going to try not to get them very big. And we'll add, oops, sorry about that. We will add some of our snowflakes. Now, I don't know why I have 2 packs, but one of them I've just about used all the snowflakes. They're my favorite part. So let me just shake that around and see if I can get more. And I think these add just the perfect little touch to the card. We'll be using these on the next card too. All right, that gives us a little bit of a snowflakey look. Oops, I missed one up here. Okay, my glue will dry. There's one more thing that I want to add to the card, and it's a wreath. So let me talk to you about this wreath. There is a wreath die, and on this paper that has all of the words on it, there are a lot of the wreaths on the back. So I simply cut one out. And it's kind of big for the house, but we're just going to add it in the middle of all of the windows to make that look a little more festive. Okay, so there we go. And so I'm going to stamp a saying on the inside. This is also going to be from Itty Bitty Christmas, and we're doing Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, okay, great. You always wonder, will you get it crooked or will you get it straight? And so we'll glue that on the inside. Oh, hey, Patty Bennett, how are you today? Gosh, I feel excited. Okay, so here's my first card using this fun fold. And we're actually going to make another one. We're still going to be using the Coming Home stamp set and bundle, actually, the whole suite maybe. And we're going to be making another card. This one is going to have a base of Misty Moonlight. So again, the paper is 8.5 by 11. So we are going to cut at 3. We're going to have a piece that's 3 by 8.5. And we're going to, let me move this cutter side down. We're going to score this at 4 1/4, just like we did before. And then I need a piece that's going to be the size of a card. So I'm going to take this 8.5 and cut it at 4 1/4. And then this will be cut at 5 1/2. So that's just like what we did for the other card. Okay, but I thought you might want to see again how we did that. So I'm going to take my bone folder and burnish that fold, but remember, still match those corners to make sure that you have everything straight. Okay, let me get some of my pieces over this way. So we're going to be using the snowflake paper on the back, or the little houses, and I'm going to glue those to each end, just like we did the other card. Okay, so we'll add that. I made it so that it would have just a small border. And of course, I'm sticking my hand right there in the glue. You don't ever do that, do you? Okay, so we have that on there. And that's going to make it easy to glue the other piece right in the middle. And did you see I did the same thing I did before? turned this over to put ink on the back or glue on the back, but it's the same on both sides. I just have this habit of turning things over. So I'm going to put that right in between again. The fold will go right on that line. So you can see this is really an easy card to put together. Okay, so let's start working on the front of this one. And I'm going to again use paper from the In Good Taste. Again, let me remind you that that paper is in the annual catalog, and it's really, if you don't have it, it deserves a second look because it is fantastic. Okay, so for this card, I am going to use this house to decorate my card, and I want to make the house out of the wood, so I'm going to actually cut it right out of this layer because I'm going to cover it up with something else. So I'm going to bring back in the Big Shot, or not the Big Shot, cut and emboss machine. And yeah, Patty, escaping the news. It's a crazy election. I just wish it were over and we would just know one way or the other how it goes. So there's the house. And I'm going to want to go back and put a red heart in here. So while I have this out, I'm going to bring in a scrap of red. This is real red. And I'm going to lay this house over that, making sure that I have the heart. And then we'll run that through. Okay, I think that's all we have to cut on this. We've got a few things we're going to do with punches. So let me get this out of the way. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add this to the front of the card with my glue. And punching or cutting the house out of the center is really just a way to save a little bit of paper. I don't know if you feel like me, but designer paper is just precious to me. I hate to cut it. All right, we're going to be using the, I have forgotten the name of this punch. I will have it on my blog post. We're going to punch out with this. It has fancy in it. Somebody knows, put it up there in the comments, and I'll say what it is. And then I'm going to add this piece with dimensionals. So and actually there is a front and a back. If you look at something that you've cut out with the die cutting machine, it really does have a side that looks like it should be the front. It looks just a tad nicer. Now you can turn your stuff over and use the back if you need to, of course. But if you don't need to, then look at it and find one that, the one that looks maybe a little nicer. Okay, so we have that, and you can see it's covered entirely, the hole in our paper. No one will ever know that it's there. Okay, I'm going to bring in the sprig punch, and I'm going to punch out 2 of these. I think I'll go down here to this end where I've already been messing with things. Okay. And we are going to attach these with glue dots. So I'm just going to put that on a glue dot and kind of put that out going to one side. And we'll do the same thing with the other one. Like that. Okay. And now I'm going to take some of this gold thread. This is from the Forever Greenery Trim Combo Pack. Now this does ravel very quickly. I'm going to cut off what has raveled, and I'm going to put this on a glue dot immediately. And I'm going to kind of put this right in there. And I'm just going to go around in a circle. And then around in another circle. And kind of adhere that to that glue dot. So that's a pretty simple way of getting a little bit of that back behind here. Okay, so I'm going to bring over my house that I made, my little bird house. And I'm going to use dimensionals. Like I said, I don't have my little ones over here, so we'll just cut some of these. To tell the truth, that's what I end up doing most of the time. Okay, and we'll take those off. And this house is going to kind of cover up our yuckiness that we have under there. And then I'm going to bring in my red heart. And we'll put part of a dimensional on that one. And the heart is going to go right in there. Okay. All right, we're going to use the very same sentiment that we used for the other card on the front. And again, that was from the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set. And we're going to be stamping that in real red. Yay. And again, I'm just going to fussy cut around that because I like to do that. Okay. Well, Patty, thank you for saying I'm creative. I kind of think you're pretty creative. But that's why we all like to stamp. We just love to make things. Okay, so we'll add our dimensionals to the back of this. Oops. Now I'm going to give these two cards that I'm making today away, just like I did for the cards that we made last week. So I'll be picking someone who has commented, whether you comment now while it's live, or you can comment, of course, if you go back and watch it later. Love for you to comment then as well. So this is going to go here. And just as we did before, we're going to add some of our snowflake sequins. So I'm going to just put a few little drops of glue here and there. Okay, and I'll use my Take Your Pick tool to get some of those and put them in place. As I said, I'm getting a little bit low on just the snowflake part. They're my favorite part. But I do have some more. In fact, let me open some of these others. And I'll probably just end up putting them all in one. Now, of course, I'm going to want to just let that sit and dry. And I didn't try it with the glue dot, but perhaps that might have been better. I don't know if they would stick out too much or not. I didn't think to try that. So maybe you want to try that, or maybe you have. If you have and you want to comment about that, let us know. Okay. And then for the inside of this one, I'm really going to make it pretty much like the other one. I've got my cardstock, and we'll stamp our Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Now I try to get my paper straight here on a grid line, hoping that that will help me get it straight when I stamp it on my cardstock. Let's see if that worked. It looks pretty good. Now this one is, I don't know if I've told you, 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. But again, I will have this on my blog on Saturday, and I will have all of the measurements on there for you. And I'll also upload this video. I'd love for you to share it if you have friends that you think might enjoy seeing these cards. It's a fun fold, and I hope you'll try it, because I think it's maybe easier than someone receiving it might think. Oops. Okay, so we'll just put that in there. And there is our second card. So these are the cards that we made today using the same layout, but 2 very different cards using the same pack of paper, the Trimming the Town paper, and the same stamp set and dies. So again, this is the Coming Home dies, the Home Together dies, the Coming Home stamp set. Patty, I probably do have some of the adhesive back sequins, and I thought about that. I kind of wanted to use these, but those certainly would be easier, wouldn't they? So, and then I also used the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set. That is in the, I think it's in the annual catalog as well. So I think that's it. I appreciate you joining me today. And again, if you would share with someone, I would appreciate it. I do sell supplies for Stampin' Up, and I'd love to help you out if I could. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time. Have a lovely rest of the week. Thank you. Bye-bye.